Neuroscientists have long held that brain implants are the cure-all for all disabling injuries. Today, we investigate this esoteric medical study area known as BMI, or brain-machine interface. Researchers have finally received approval to start conducting human studies to validate their theory. The organization that has obtained clearance is known as Synchron, the first US clinical study of a brain implant that restores the ability to communicate to severely paralyzed people has started, marking an important milestone that might turn science fiction into reality. Welcome to Incredible Tech, the one-stop channel for all tech geeks. Let's jump right into the video. Before discussing the human trials for brain transplants, let's first define what a BMI is. BMI effectively establishes a direct line of communication between the brain's electrical activity and an outside instrument. Utilizing is made possible by utilizing a brain-computer interface, or BCI. Consider BCIs as a bridge through which people with motor or sensory impairments can communicate with the rest of the world using various devices. A BCI is any device that converts neural information into commands, capable of controlling external software or hardware, such as a communicator or robotic arm. They mainly fall into two categories: non-invasive and invasive. The majority of brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, have been of the non-invasive variety since their invention. These electrode-studded caps that are placed on people's skulls have limitations because the skulls get in the way and reduces the signal's effectiveness. The other is the more invasive form, which is much more effective but necessitates cutting a skull hole to install a chip into the brain. The first devices implanted in humans appeared in the middle of the 1990s. Scientists have primarily used animals in their experiments with this sort of BCI, but there have been some limited human testing. The peripheral nervous system and the cerebral cortex can both receive this implant. Even though it is the industry standard in the BCI sector, the spikes enter the brain after removing a portion of the skull and transmit electrical impulses from the brain to a computer box attached to the head. The computer box then transfers the signals to the targeted device. Since its success, the Utah array has continued to rely heavily on technologies from the 1990s. A device that can be implanted into a person's brain and communicate with a computer to translate a person's thoughts into action was one of the reasons why our favorite tech billionaire Elon Musk founded Neuralink in 2016. It was later revealed that the company's purpose would be to treat and try to cure brain-related disorders. Neuralink's fully implantable wireless high channel count BCI implant that Neuralink has been working on since 2016 will allow people with paralysis to directly use their neural activity to operate computers and mobile devices, has made significant progress. Still, Synchron, a rival company, received approval for human trials instead. This is most likely caused by the way Neuralink functions. The device is implanted by removing a portion of the skull, and then electrode wires are placed in the outer cortical layer using a robotic sewing machine. The electrode is so small that the skin can be folded back and stitched up after placement. The electrode wires only extend a few millimeters into the brain, allowing the robot to place the electrode directly onto the neuron they want to read. This results in a massive amount of signal leaving the brain and clearer communication with the linked external device. Despite the fact that this is a very invasive operation, you can be confident that there won't be any obvious evidence of the implant on your body once it's done. Elon hopes to develop an innovative form of robotic brain surgery utilizing Neuralink. Talk about unprecedented, but Neuralink will attempt to stitch a robotic sewing machine into a human brain. He also stated that the objective is to have a robot execute the entire surgery. The benefits of modern robotic surgery are numerous. Because patients don't need to be admitted, the process can be completed in less than an hour without general anesthesia. Patients can enter the surgery and emerge an hour later as cyborgs with the ability to control gadgets with their mind. Did anyone else see flashbacks of the Terminator and Skynet after hearing this? Despite not being approved for use in human trials, the good news is that it has already been given the FDA Breakthrough Device classification. The United States Food and Drug Administration, FDA, is the body in charge of defending the public's health by guaranteeing the security, efficiency, and safety of pharmaceuticals and biological products. How does the Synchron device differ from the Neuralink, and why have human trials been approved for it? The major rival of Neuralink, Synchron, made strides and received FDA approval for small-scale human trials involving 6 patients in July 2021. The Stentrode is an endovascular brain implant that they first developed in 2016 after being tested on 2 patients in Australia. Similar to Neuralink's device, it is intended to improve functional independence and allow patients to control digital devices with their thoughts wirelessly. However, their procedure is significantly less invasive than Neuralink's because the Stentrode is intended to be implanted through the patient's vein until it reaches the brain. Instead of drilling through the skull, we're using the blood arteries as a neural pathway into the brain and lining the inside of them with electrodes or sensors that can capture activity from the brain. A catheter implants the Stentrode into the patient's jugular vein. When the catheter is drawn back, the hollow wire mesh of the Stentrode, which consists of a net-like material with 16 sensors and is nestled within the brain's motor cortex, spreads out and makes contact with the blood vessel walls. When the patient is ready, a very small computer device is implanted inside their chest cavity and attached to the wire at the other end of the Stentrode. The signals pass through a lead that departs the body and into the telemetry device that plugs into a computer. Those signals are sent to the implant, which connects to the rest of the system via Bluetooth when coupled with a computer or even simply a smartphone with a Synchron Stentrode. After the treatment, the presence of a brain implant in a patient is not immediately apparent. Another benefit is that the procedure can be completed in just a few hours in any hospital setting. After receiving FDA approval last year, Synchron successfully implanted the Stentrode device on 1 patient at the Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. They plan to expand the program to 5 more patients as per the FDA approval by the end of this year. This endovascular procedure is already used for other surgical treatments, and the majority of surgeons are already trained in it. It should be easy sailing for them if their Australian trial results are any indication. These trials were conducted in 2019 after Synchron received approval from Australian officials for human trials in patients with multiple sclerosis. The results showed no adverse implant reactions. Even better, they achieved unsupervised home use of the Stentrode device less than 100 days after the operation. The command experiment will explicitly assess the implant's safety as well as participants' ability to use the Stentrode system to manage their digital gadgets without using their hands and increase their functional independence. All patients had their implants for the whole first year without complications, resulting in impairment or death. The participants also successfully controlled electronic gadgets without using their hands. Among their achievements was the sending of the first tweet sent by direct thought in December. Without the aid of predictive text technology, individuals were generally able to type at least 14 characters per minute. Additionally, they managed to get the algorithm to regulate cursor clicks with more than 90% accuracy. It appears that Synchron is giving Neuralink a run for its money. Hopefully, the competition will help both companies' products and ultimately the lives of those who need them. At the trial's conclusion, both participants had used the device for tasks like text messaging, online shopping, and managing their finances independently. The Synchron Stentrode's only drawback thus far is that it is placed into a blood vessel that travels through the brain rather than inside the cortex tissue, preventing it from physically interacting with the neurons. Since the implant is far less intrusive than Neuralink, the signal released is constrained and weaker than the Neuralink signal. It is still really impressive that Synchron has advanced to this point. Although Neuralink may be behind, the success of Synchron's clinical trial represents a significant step towards removing regulatory and practical barriers for the BCI industry in the long run. Neuralink will also benefit from this. The trial's success will also give Neuralink the chance to learn from Stentrode, particularly regarding data privacy concerns, by the time they are ready for human trials. Incredibly, people and businesses are devoting their lives to developing this game-changing technology, and Neuralink will have addressed those concerns as well as any others that are sure to arise along the way. We are waiting for a world where disease and damage do not limit an individual's independence and quality of life. How do you feel about these BCIs? Do you think Neuralink will soon be authorized for human trials? Please provide your feedback in the comment box below.